Hey friends, welcome back. Thank you for joining me again today on the channel for episode number 3. Before we talked about a couple of the basics of watches and did a little bit with NATO straps and some fun like that. But today I wanted to bring you guys something special, something that I waited a long time for and I saved up for, and something that I wear at least 3 or 4 days out of the week because I love this watch so much. Now, a lot of you might not be familiar with micro brands. You know, when a lot of you new watchers are watching, you're thinking of something like Rolex or maybe no Omega. Maybe you go to the mall and you sort of see brands like Seiko, or you see Citizen. Of course, you'll see Citizen, and maybe you know the brands that are out there a lot. Micro brands, on the other hand, are not ones you're going to find in stores. So things like Helm is a great one. Helios, I think, is another one. Visitor, of course, the one I have here today. There's a lot to be said about the micro brand community in watches. For me especially, since I used to work in sales of the bigger watch brands, you know, the new year would come around and we would kind of get told what the new designs were going to be, and you know, oftentimes it was the same thing over and over again, which is, you know, I mean, there's something to be said about that. Like the Rolex is always going to have the Submariner. I mean, it's an iconic watch, and I get it, and people will pay for it, so why deviate? But at the same time, it's sometimes hard to find something new in the watch community, which is where these micro brands can really start to shine, because that creativity, which seems to have been lost for so many years, is back with a lot of these. Now, for a lot of the other micro brands, I can't speak to it, but for Visitor, I first saw a review for Visitor back in, gosh, I want to say 2015 or 2016. I think it was shortly after I moved back to the United States, here in California. And I fell in love with it, and I got on Visitor's website. I looked at all the pictures, I watched the videos, and I needed it. And it was, you know, it wasn't the cheapest watch. This one was $650, which, I mean, for some people that's not an issue. Maybe you have that lying around, you can blow it. But another thing about it is there was a waiting list for it. So when I got on it, I was told, yeah, it's probably going to be about a year. So I was like, whoa, you know, it's not something I can just, you know, impulse buy. I have to put away some cash. I have to start putting away some cash every month. I have to save. And then I just waited for that email from good old Phil, who's the creator of Visitor. And when it came, I couldn't have been happier. It's my day off today, so I am wearing the wonderful Seiko. Oh, sorry, not the Seiko, the Casio, the F91W. I've had this on before, but definitely my fun day off watch for when I just can't be bothered. But this is my day on watch, and I'm going to show you why. So this is actually what the watch came in. This case here, which you can see has the Visitor logo on it. It has this little Visitor booklet as well, kind of like a guide. This is an amazing case. I've kept it. I will never throw this away. I've used it for travel. I've put other watches in it while I'm wearing my Visitor, so I can switch watches out while I'm on the road. It's very well made. The feel of it, it's soft, but it also has kind of a sturdy, well-crafted feel. This is just my cleaning cloth. This has nothing to do. This did not come with it. But let me open it up here. So when it came in the mail, came just like you're seeing it here. Well, not just like it, it was a little bit different. And there was this pouch here, which also has the logo on it, which I also have used. A very nice, kind of a silky smooth pouch on it. Put that aside. And then the watch. Now, before I get to the watch, there was also this other compartment here, and I opened it up, and it wasn't like this. It was wrapped in like a, I don't want to say like a styrofoam wrap, but actually the spring bar tool, the one I used to change out the NATO on my Orient, that actually came with the Visitor. So I didn't even own one until I got my Visitor last year. So very happy that this was in here. I'll talk more about this in a bit. But this is the case. Again, very nice case. I like that there's an extra compartment here for, you know, tools or anything else I would need. It closes very firmly with the little latch here. So yeah, that was already when I first got this watch, it was a great impression. So let me put this aside for a moment, and I'm going to bring up the watch. So this is the Visitor Duneshore Caligraph here. The Visitor is one of the most beautiful pieces of watchmaking I've ever seen in my life, and that's not an exaggeration. I'm smitten with this watch. I have been from day one. I mean, my wife knows I wear this even when I don't have something to match it. I like it so much. It's just part of everything that I do now, which is great, which is what you want your watch to be. It should be something that you fall in love with, not just something that you have. The strap is one of your choosing, so when you actually buy the watch and it's your turn to get it when you're off the wait list, you can choose the strap. I think this is the French deerskin strap. It's in the gray, as you can see. I love the gray with it's a kind of a matte navy blue on the dial. My wife actually picked out the strap because she has better sense than I do. But it's, again, very soft, very well made. Not showing you too much of the undercarriage yet. That's private. I'll show you that later. But if you take a look just in the craftsmanship, it's called the Duneshore, and when I first saw it, I thought it was kind of like in a cushion. You know what I mean? It's like the watch itself is on a cushion that's being presented to you. But then I read like it's it's supposed to be like the shape of the dunes rising and falling in the desert. I mean, I don't know if I read that on the actual Visitor website or on some review of it. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, okay, I can see it. Got the crown there, a nice big crown, easy to handle. And it's been commented on quite a lot. Most people ask if I'm wearing a Panerai, actually, because a Panerai has this kind of also bigger theme to it. I don't think it really looks too much like a Panerai, except for maybe the size. But I think this is quite a bit distinct when you look at it closely. But you know, fair is fair. I can see where that comparison might be drawn. The watch itself runs on a Miyota movement, which is a Japanese movement. I think Citizen makes it. And you can see, I didn't wind it up, it's just running. But it's got a pretty smooth second hand. You can see going around the bottom. And it has a date complication right at the 3 o'clock, which is perfect, which is exactly what I want in my watch. I don't care too much about having a day date or having too many extra features. I think moon phases are cool, but this is a fantastic watch to wear. Again, the crown, smooth as butter. You can unbutton it there. The wind is fantastic. There's no kind of grittiness to it. You know, there's a smooth wind. And pull it out a little more. You can set the time and date. We're not going to do that now. But another thing I love about this is the hands. Calligraph sounds like calligraphy, right? So the hands actually look like the ends of pens, very kind of the tips of a pen that's drawing something. The indices too are another unique part of the watch. So the indices kind of almost, to me, what it looked like is someone had like a dabble of paint, like you see at the 12, 9, 3, and 6, and then they had a paintbrush and they just kind of smeared it to the side, smeared it like that. And I thought that was cool. I hadn't seen indices quite like that before. I thought it fit with the watch. There's, you know, the pen motif and the ink kind of being dragged into one direction. I thought it really was perfect. And there's some haters about this, but these lugs come out a bit far, so there is kind of an empty space between the strap and the case. Some people hate that. I don't mind. I can see why it would bother some people, but all other things considered in this piece, that's just a moot point for me. Not even close to being relevant. Okay, let's take a look at the exciting part. So I'm going to flip it so you can see here. So you can see that the edge, let's try to get into focus there. So that on the bottom of the watch here, it's got kind of a rounded, like a groove in it, so it'll fit on top of your wrist. It's very cool. It has the display back, and I love this design here. I could try to get it even closer if it'll stay in focus, but that kind of ridged design on the interior of the watch, the rotor that has the logo. Trying to get it to spin over. Come here, you. And just the beautiful Miyota movement in there. There we go. And you can see it ticking away. Ticking away right there. It's fantastic. The company logo on the rotor is just a great touch. You know, whenever I take this off and show it to people, it always gets, you know, compliments. It's just a showy piece. Let me put it on here so I can show you guys. I'll give it a show. Let me take off. Sorry, Casio, your Highness. I'll put you aside here. The buckle also has the company name engraved on it. I'm not going to show you that because who cares about the buckle? Some people do, I guess. Not me. Okay. We're going to get it in there. And this is how it looks on the wrist. We got the Visitor logo right in there. And with the gray, I think it looks absolutely stunning. I wear this with my suit when I go to work. I think it's a fantastic dress piece, even though it's big. And I know I've said it before, some people might say it's hypocritical. I know the dress pieces are supposed to be thinner and smaller, and this one is pretty tall. I'll flip it that way so you can see it. It's big, but it's classy. And I love the classy look of it. Another thing that came with it was the booklet that I showed a little bit earlier. And it's the standard, you know, this is how the watch works, you know, wind it 40 times, you know, the basics. Changing the strap, it has a great page on changing the strap, so if you've never changed the strap on your watch before, it has a couple pictures just to kind of show you some of the technical information on the case here. I think it's a 44 millimeter on here. The part I want to get to here is here we go, inside information. So I'll read this to you folks. The brand name Visitor was chosen for two reasons. Locals often see visitors as interesting and unexpected. Those are two adjectives we strive for in watch design. 2. Being a visitor often implies leaving your comfort zone and doing something memorable. We hope our watches will become a small piece of those memories. The name Calligraph, or the collection name Calligraph, is the verb derivative of calligraphy. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. Technically means to make calligraphy. However, we take it at a broader definition of to communicate beautifully, a concept which speaks to the essence of modern mechanical watches. The model name Duneshore is derived from the Indiana Dunes, a national lakeshore, whose geography helped inspire the case design of the watch. The Visitor watch emblem depicts a lion's head door knocker tying into the concept of being a visitor. The letters S, T, and R seen in the emblem do not stand for anything per se, but rather allow for the word visitor to be hidden within the shield outline. The pointed circle door knocker shape of the emblem makes an additional appearance as the counterweight of the second's hand. Indiana, as seen as the case back, is not a typo of Indiana. Rather, it refers to our being an independent or indie brand based in Indiana. Easy peasy. So yeah, that is the inspiration of this watch. The first part when it's talking about the name Visitor and why it was chosen, about visitors being interesting and unexpected, and being a visitor implies leaving your comfort zone and doing something memorable. That's definitely true. I like that. He drew inspiration just from that one word. And really, for me, a visitor, I mean, when we're thinking about watches, when we're thinking about horology, and we're thinking kind of in the grander scheme of time, and we're talking, and I don't mean this to be corny, but about just being a visitor here. Our life is short, and we visit, and we leave. And the next generation becomes the new visitors here, and they care for the next generation, and the next generation, and so on and so forth. It's, when you're getting into the hobby of watches and time, I think you become a lot more aware of the own time you've spent here, because you look back at the pieces you've held maybe for so long. I've had this for less than a year, but I've been on the waiting list for it for a year before that. And I've watches I've had for many years, and they all take me back to a time where I was a different person than I am now. And that's kind of one of the beautiful things about having and keeping your wristwatches is they take you back in time. They really do. And it's something beautiful for you to keep and for you to treasure. But anyway, that's it. That's the Visitor Duneshore. Phil is the guy who created the design. So Visitor Watch Company, you can look them up on Google. You can check them out. I'm not getting paid for them by anything, but if you like this kind of design, you're not going to find it in the brands you just find at the mall. And really, I think even if you're not into Visitor, if you look up other micro brands, I think they deserve your support, because they're creating something truly unique and beautiful that a lot of people should really discover now in the 2019. But yeah, thank you again for joining me. As always, it's a pleasure to share the hobby and see if there's any new watchers that can have a new curiosity being sparked. And I hope to see you next time. All right, guys.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.